Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video, hi, I'm Elena, and this is the Organized Money, where we talk about planning, productivity, organization, and managing money. If that interests you, then make sure that you click that subscribe button, as I would love for you to be a part of our little family. Today's video is on how to create a budget. We're going to be walking step by step through the process on how you can create a budget. So let's get started. So the first thing that you need to do is figure out the exact method that you're going to use when you are budgeting. I am a big paper budgeter. I love to budget on paper and to write everything down. So that's what this video is going to be focused on, is how I prepare a budget in my planner. Now, if you feel like the planner is not the space for you, there are definitely a bunch of other apps out there like EveryDollar or You Need a Budget that can help you with app budgeting, or you can do it in Excel. So this is my budget planner. It is by Happy Planner, and you can purchase it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. The first thing that I have added in here are my 2019 goals. If you are a paper planner, I suggest that you put your goals as the very first sheet that you see every time you open up your planner. This will help you align with your values and keep you focused on your reason why for budgeting. So when preparing my 2019 goals, my husband and I sat down and decided on what exactly we wanted to achieve in 2019 financially. We decided that we wanted to decrease our debt, we wanted to save for sinking funds, and we wanted to make sure that we keep our emergency fund at $5,000. That was our goals for the year. If you are married, I highly suggest that you and your spouse get together and do this part together. You want to make sure that you are on the same track and you both have the same goals. Also, when you're adding your goals, make sure that you're very specific. As you can see, I have an action plan of how we're going to decrease our debt. At the top here, I have an overall overview of all of our debt, and then I have an action plan of what I want to do until June 2019. It's a great idea to write down your goals, but it's even better to have an action plan attached to those goals. So the next sheet that I am creating in my planner after my goals and after my action plan is going to be a list of my current monthly budget. This will be a list of my current income and expenses, broken down from fixed expenses, variable expenses, and business expenses. So if you've never completed this process before, the very first thing that you want to do is calculate your monthly income. You want to add a list of all of the items that you know you're going to make for the upcoming month. If you are like my husband and I and you are on a variable income, the best thing that you can do in this scenario is just to do an estimate of how much you think you're going to make. It's best to be on the modest side, so you want to put the least that you possibly could make and not the most. After you have added all of your income, the next step is to add your fixed monthly expenses. Your fixed monthly expenses are your essential monthly expenses, meaning that these are the things that you absolutely have to pay to survive. If you have never budgeted before and you don't even know where to start with your expenses, then I would suggest to look at your bank statements for the last 3 months. Go over them and look at each transaction and see if you can put it into a particular category. Most categories include your rent, your mortgage, your gas bill, your water bill, the electric bill, groceries, and even debt repayment. Now, because I have been doing this for quite some time, I do have all of my bills together, meaning that mine are not separated by fixed and variable for the most part. Anything that comes out of the account is on this one side under all of my expenses. But I advise you, if you are a beginner, to definitely separate them so that you can see how much you're spending on your fixed items that you absolutely have to have versus what you could possibly get rid of. The next section is your variable expenses. These are expenses that You don't absolutely have to survive, but they are definitely a part of your monthly budget. Items in this category could include shopping, eating out, taking the kids out for certain activities, or anything else that is not essential to survival. Once you start completing this process, this is a great time for you to realize what exactly you could possibly cut from your budget. If you're constantly running out of money before your next payday, then your variable expenses is a great place to look at in order to cut back. This is the place where you'll definitely be able to save a lot of extra money. Another tip that I wanted to add here is to make sure that you are paying yourself first. Many times when we don't have enough money to cover our bills, it seems like we shouldn't put any of the money on the side for ourselves, but that's actually not the truth. Putting some money on the side for yourself will actually help you not go into more debt and will help you budget with what you have. This should be considered an essential expense and will help you stay on track with your budget in the long run. Now, I'm going to add an extra step of adding my business budget to the bottom of my sheet here. But if you don't have a side business or you keep that completely separate, then the next thing that you will want to do is to subtract your expenses from your income. If you subtract your income from your expenses and you get a positive number, then that means you make more money than you spend, and that is good. You can go back to your budget and adjust your numbers. For example, if you have a surplus of $100, then you could put more money into savings, or you could possibly put more money into paying debt off. If you subtract your income from your expenses and you get zero, then that means you have broken even. It means you have exactly enough money, but you don't have any margin. You still may want to adjust your budget to give yourself a little bit of room for discretionary expenses or anything that may come up that you did not plan for. If you subtract your income from your expenses and you get a negative number, then this is not good. It means that you're spending more money than you actually take home. I would suggest going back and looking at your budget, especially at your variable expenses, and see if there's any way that you could decrease your expenses. If there's absolutely no way to decrease your expenses, then I would suggest to increase your income. Look at different ways that you could possibly make more money. For instance, when I first started our business, it was because we did not have enough money coming in order to cover all of our expenses. I decided to add on an additional business, which is my 2 Etsy shops, and it has helped us be able to grow to a place where we don't absolutely have to have it. Now, I enjoy doing Etsy, so I have decided to keep it as one of the things that I do, and that is what I'm adding at the bottom of my sheet here. I'm adding my business expenses because we have a surplus of about close to $2,000 a month. Right now, I have dedicated about 3 years into sinking that money back into my business. Currently, the business does not absolutely need that money in order to survive, but I still like to do it because I am currently focusing on growing the business. After you complete this process, then you have a budget in place. Even if your number is negative, do not get discouraged because there is power in knowing your numbers. There is power in knowing exactly what you need to do to get to the next step. It's the first step in planning your financial future. So now that you have all of your numbers on paper, the main thing that you have to do is monitor these numbers and adjust when needed. Keep on working on it. Keep on looking at your numbers. We do this every single month, and it has been life-changing. The very last tip that I wanted to give you is just to make sure that you stay encouraged, and that is this. On average, it takes about 3 months to get adjusted to a budget. So if you do a budget and you feel like you're not following it exactly or it's too hard to stick to, then keep trying at least for 90 days because on average, it takes about 90 days to get all the kinks and quirks worked out of your budget and to get it functioning properly. So that's it for this how to create a budget video. I hope this video has helped you. If you have any questions or any additional tips or tricks, make sure that you leave it in the comments below. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure that you head over and follow me on Instagram at The Organized Money. Until next time, guys, bye.